You have a really diverse resume. Is there anything that stays consistent when you choose your parts? Because you have films like this, Martha Marcy May Marlene, and they're just so incredibly diverse. So is there anything that's similar with all of those that makes you want to choose them?
Yeah, the characters. I think the thing that makes me, each character that I do is very different. That's whenever I play, like let's just say, I played a Cannibal and We Are What We Are, and I want to play something way different than that for my next film. But I'm very driven to the characters. I want something that is good dialogue and something, if it's not like a juicy or interesting character, then it's very hard to do. And that's what I look for the most in a good director.
Do you have to relate to your characters at all?
No, not necessarily. As long as there's a lot of things to do and to act with, no. I mean, I'm very different than Rose in We Are What We Are. Not even in that way, but like just personalities were very different. And I was willing and able, I guess, to explore that. I was happy to, so.
And how about just in terms of your preparation process? So many different characters, I'm sure each requires something different, but is there anything that you have to do when jumping into each one of them?
Yeah, I noticed with doing films, the key is, in the end of the day, no matter what, with all the research, I think the most important is just to focus on the situation that the character is going through and to just think the thoughts of your character. So that's really all you really need, and to listen to the director.
So can you tell me a little bit about working with Jim here? What's the first thing, once you signed on, what's the first thing he had you do?
The first thing he had me do, when I signed on, the first thing that he had me do, I don't know. I mean, Jim and I had a really great meeting, so I had a lot of questions for him, and he answered all of them, and he did a really good job. And I don't know what was the first thing he made. We did so much. We did so much.
What kind of questions did you have for him?
Mainly about the script. I mean, I think one of the questions for me was, why did Rose do that in the end, the ending scene?
We're going to get to that later.
Yeah.
I'm going to put a big spoiler warning there,
yeah.
so you'll be safe.
I said the ending scene. I didn't say anything. So.
It's a pretty brilliant scene.
Yeah.
And how about working with your co-stars, too? Because this is really one of the most honest brother-sister relationships I've ever seen on film. So was there a lot of bonding, or did that just come naturally?
Plenty of bonding. Honestly, the shoot was really like a camp. Like, it was like summer camp. Even though it had really hard scenes, dark scenes we had to do every single day, but otherwise we had bonfires every night, like we played softball like every Sunday, so it was a lot of bonding. Amber Childers, the girl who plays my sister, she was very nice. We met on set, and we had a great chemistry, and she's just a terrific actress. And Bill Sage, who played my father before, he's honestly one of the nicest guys and probably the best scene partner anyone will ever get to work with. He's brilliant. He's a brilliant actor. So.
How about the little boy that played Rory? Because
He's great.
It's scary, though. Like, one scene in particular that caught my mind was when you're at the table and Bill grabs him when he tries to eat something. Like, is something like that really highly choreographed, or is this kid just kind of like a little adult?
Oh, you mean
like can he handle it?
Yeah, well, you know what? I think because we had so much fun on set, and I think, Bill, was playing softball with him, almost, every day. Like, he was playing baseball with him and, doing all these things. And, he knew that it was just, a movie. But there was a couple times that he did get scared. And we're like, don't worry.
Any normal kid should get scared.
Yeah, that would be weird if they didn't get scared.
How about for you? Because you have this in The Last Exorcism also. I mean, does any of this actually sink in where you get in bed at night and you're thinking about it?
No, because I just think about the day. What happened that day, or, what was the joke of the day on set, or, what was the hardest scene to shoot? I don't really think so much like the situation in the script. Is it real?
What kind of actor's director is Jim? Does he like to give you a lot of notes on set, or is it more letting you do what you need to do?
The great thing about Jim is that he gives you freedom and he gives you space, but then in the same time, he will fix things that need to be fixed, and you completely trust Jim because he's just such a great guy, and you know that he's a great director. Like I even from talking to him the first time, I knew, I just got that sense.
Can you tell me what it was like shooting that ending scene, especially in terms of movie magic? What exactly are you eating?
Turkey with corn syrup. That's what I'm having. It was it was like little turkey bites.
And that's in like the soup bowl.
I didn't have the soup.
You don't eat the soup.
I don't eat the soup. But yeah, I have something else in the end, and that's the turkey with corn syrup.
Is that like pasted on him?
No, the whole time I had it in my mouth, and then I had to like pretend it was yeah, and then I had this. This is gross. Look at where we're at now.
In a restaurant.
In a restaurant, yeah.
And what is going through your mind in terms of like tapping into what the character is feeling? Because it's justified. I can understand and believe why she goes there, but I wasn't expecting it at the same time,
No.
which also makes it so satisfying.
Yeah, she goes crazy. What can I say? Wait, what was your question? What was your
I guess
question?
kind of just balancing the fact that you don't know it's coming, and it's a shock when she
You
does
kind
it,
of
but
do
at the
and you
same,
don't.
it's inside of her.
I think you know what? I think the whole time it was building up. You know, she was carrying that inner shame the whole time, and she was carrying that, and it was so heavy. And I think that the whole time she felt like she was about to not collapse, but about to burst. And then by the end of it, she burst. And I always think that she's very similar to the father rather than her mother. Rather than Iris, Iris is probably more similar to her mother. So
It's funny because I always thought that Iris would be the one to do it, not Rose in the end.
yeah, well, it changes. So
I like that game.
yeah.
Did you think much about what happens to them after? I mean, it's kind of implied, but do you believe that they're going somewhere else and they're going
I
to continue?
believe that, yeah, probably. But we'll see. I never know what Nick D'Amici and Jim Mickle are going to write next, so.
How about you? What's next for you? Are you going on? I know you have a couple things in post that we're waiting for at this
Yeah.
point, but are you going into shooting anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot something this fall. I can't say yet. I mean, I just booked it.
Well, congratulations.
Thank
then.
you. And then I'm doing 4 movies over the next year. So
And how do you feel about that? I mean, it must be thrilling, but is it intimidating at all?
yeah, but you know, you just focus on your work. That's you can't think about. Just focus on doing the best job and making people happy and making yourself happy. So.
As someone who's played so many different characters, is there an ideal character you want to play? Someone you haven't gotten the chance to tap into yet?
There's not so much an ideal character that I want to play, but I want to do everything. Eventually, I want to also be in a comedy too. You notice I'm always in dark film.
That is true.
So I would be interested in seeing what happens if I do a comedy.
And how about just in terms of the scale of the film? Because I guess if I think about it, probably Sin City would be one of the bigger budgeted ones.
Yeah.
Do you have a preference? Are there certain things you get to do on a movie like that you can't do on something that costs a little less?
I mean, I'm sure, but I don't really notice. I mean, I feel obviously there's a green screen, and that's a huge green screen, and you can't do that as much as on an indie film, I guess. But no, honestly, I don't see the difference really between studio films and I guess independent films in the sense where it's just a story. You just need a good story.